What's going on, guys? I wanted to check in with you real quick. I'm camping out at Lake Pleasant, and it's actually a pretty cool view that I've got, but unfortunately, it got dark on me. I'm right by the lake, and maybe in the morning I'll be able to get another shot of the lake that's right by the campsite. But I'm over here by close to like a drop off, so feel a little bit protected. But then again, I have an interesting story. Earlier, I went to the bathroom, and then I decided to go to the gas station down the street, or not down the street. It's maybe about 15, 20 minutes away, but anyways, I wanted to go get a beverage to drink tonight. And when I left, I came back and I saw all my stuff was scattered all over the place. And I was kind of confused and started going around. And it didn't look like anything was missing. Um, but then I did find that at the bottom of one of my bags, I had a small snack size bag of Cheetos that had been torn open. And the people at the campsite next to me came and walked over, and they're like, "Hey." Well, apparently, what they ended up telling me, through conversation, was that when I was gone, a family of wild burros, had actually come to my campsite, and they were like rummaging through all my stuff. And yeah, I noticed that like my bag was knocked over, and like my lantern was knocked over, and I figured at first it was just the wind, and then I saw the bag torn open of the snacks, and I figured birds, but I had no idea that a whole family of wild donkey was at my campsite, and they were just having a field day. So it's strange how they can sense when you're not there to guard your stuff. And then, I mean, it was just gosh, it was just like one of those, I don't think, one of those small snack size bags, like ounce or two. I don't know how big they are, but anyways, one of those really small ones, and it wasn't even open. So, I mean, that they must have sensed it and sensed that nobody was around or something. I don't know, but anyways, they had a party while I was gone, and so um, I'm down some snacks, but it's all right. I'll make it through the morning. Um, but other than that, I wanted to get some footage of the lake, but I think it's going to be too dark right now. So maybe in the morning I'll get some footage for you guys. Another thing I wanted to touch on really quickly was channel just recently. I hit a big milestone, or at least for this channel, anyways. We finally hit 10 subscribers. We actually surpassed 10 subscribers, so um, it was a long, hard climb, but yeah, we made 10 subscribers, and we actually had a couple of comments, and not all of them were from family members either. So I consider that a victory. Um, I don't always get it. I actually, you know what? I'm lying. I was gonna say I don't always get a chance to respond to comments, but there's so few of them that yeah, I just responding to all of them. Um, so one of the first comments I got on the channel was when I had gone hiking one time and I found a dead saguaro that was laying across the trail. It was a pretty big, sizable saguaro, and I thought it was interesting the way it was almost fallen over completely, like in the same position, but just the bottom segment had been cut off. And I took a short video of it. It was one of my first videos, and somebody left a comment that it sort of admonishing me for cutting it down, and I was a little bit startled at first when I saw the comments. I didn't. I never in my wildest dreams would I thought that somebody would have gotten um, that impression from my video. Oh, and by the way, here let me show you guys this fire that we're marking here. So, just so you get a sense of the atmosphere out here. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, I responded back, and I don't know if that person ever got my comment or not, but I'm sorry, the username escapes me at the moment, but no, I found it like that. I never would have touched this saguaro or anything. I try to stay I try to stay on the trail and try to stay away from getting off trail as much as possible. Sometimes I'll sneak a little bit and I'll go to like a viewpoint or something. But unless I'm actually like in an area that's like okay with like backcountry hiking, like especially like these maintained parks, I usually try to respect the not only the wildlife, their little secluded area. Try to respect, let them have their boundaries. They sort of tend to respect where the humans congregate. Well, unless you leave and go to the gas station or something, then they're fair game. But and so I try to stay on the trails. So and then as far as letting it happen, I don't know. But I mean, it's just weird stuff you find out on the trail sometimes, and sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's not. So, second comment I think I've gotten on the channel before is I had mentioned something about extreme amount of scat I was finding out on the trail. I can't remember which. I think it might have been Santan Mountain, um, and I think that one was overlapping with like an equestrian trail, and so there was like a lot of like horse remains, and I'm sure some dog remains too. And so it was pretty smelly. But I think I made a comment about it then, and I got a comment from a Crazy Wolf. Said that I should take videos in animal tracks. Sometimes I see animal tracks, but I'm honestly not very good at identifying what they are. I always just think they're either a dog or a pig, and they probably are either one of them. But honestly, I wouldn't even know if there's like a large variety of animal out there, and I'm just not recognizing the tracks. But I did see at this nature center here over here at Lake Pleasant. They had a book in there talked about identifying animal tracks and animal scat out in the field. It's like $12 or $13 for the book, and I didn't pick it up, but I might pick it up on my way back out just because it might be kind of interesting, because as you're going through the trails, you do see a lot of tracks, and not that I'm crazy about identifying scat or getting a close look at it, but it always makes the experience more interesting whenever you kind of know how to identify the different varieties of things you see. I think whenever you first go out there as a newcomer, it sort of just looks like, oh, it's all desert, or it's all trees, or it's all, whatever, based on whatever kind of climate you're hiking in. But once you start to identify the different kind of plants and stuff like that, it makes it kind of interesting just because it's something that as you pass it by, you start to recall it. And I sort of started to pick that up from going to some of these hiking trails have like what they call discovery trails, or they have interpretive trails where they'll have little stations where they mark like plant or trees or something, or they'll put a little information kiosk somewhere out there, and so you get a little bit of knowledge. And then plus these books that they sell in the visitor center, those can help too. But anyways, Crazy Wolf, I'm gonna take you up on your suggestion, and I'm at least going to buy the book. Next milestone will be actually reading the book, so not just letting it sit at the house. So we'll see where we go from there. And then I think the third overall comment I've gotten from a user, I believe, I don't remember his name either. I believe it was user Dan. That was part of his name anyways. He asked me if I encountered a lot of snakes whenever I go hiking. The truth is, over all the years I've gone hiking, I've seen maybe like 2 big snakes, and those were actually, I saw more of those I think like in the swampy grasslands when I lived in the Houston area. That's actually, I think, more when you want to be wary of snakes, is whenever the grass is tall. That's worse. Honestly, that's that kind of terrain. I was like, it makes me nervous to walk through because there's just like the old saying, snake in the grass. You just whenever your feet are not clear, your path is not clear, you can easily step on something or step across something. So out here in the desert, you do see some holes, and I imagine some of them are due to snakes, or some of them are due to some other animals, but I don't see them so often out in the wild. But I gotta imagine they're everywhere. I gotta imagine I just don't have the trained eye to see them. But I think if you stay on the main train trails for the most part, it feels to me like there's some sort of like unspoken agreement between the animals and mankind. I think they sort of tend to stay away from the areas where we walk, and I think we're supposed to in turn kind of respect, like, not getting off the trail too much. But that's at the trails in the parks where there's like a constant presence of people, and where they sort of have to learn to get along in a long-term situation. So if you're out in the wild, I think all bets are off. And then also, if the animal is like extremely hungry, starving, sick, like has rabies, or if it feels threatened or cornered somehow, then all bets are off also. Down in southern Tucson, I went hiking one time, and I was out in the mountains, the Tucson Mountain Park, and I came across actually like the remains of, I don't know, looked like some sort of like power struggle out in the wild or something. There was like a mountain lion's like the paw, like separated from the body of like a mountain lion just laying across the trail, and like the bone was sticking out. And then next to it there was like a carcass of a coyote, and it was like mummified, and it was like on its back. And I remember its gums were all pulled back and its teeth were revealed almost like in a snarl. And I remember thinking like, man, what in the world happened here? Because I had been hiking for, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. I don't know how deep into the mountain I was, but I know that I had gotten to that point where I felt more remote, more alone than normal. And I think sometimes you get that sort of spidey sense that lets you know that something feels off. And I remember I felt a little bit of feeling off, like it felt quiet and eerie. And I was kind of close to an area where there was like a sheer wall of rock, and there was like a lot of little holes inside the rock face, and it just seemed like too many areas for something to hide, and you had to walk by it, and it was like real close. And I said, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna turn around. And so I'm always a big advocate of, I like doing stuff that's dangerous, adventurous. Well, no, I don't like doing stuff that's dangerous. Let me backtrack on that. I like doing stuff that's adventurous, but I'm a big believer in like, hey, like there's no embarrassment in like turning around. There's no embarrassment in like listening to that sixth sense, that voice, and playing it safe, so to speak. There's nothing to prove. There's times where I've gone down a steep downhill. When it's like too steep, man, I will just get on my rear end and just scoot down. And yeah, it might not be Instagram cool or whatever, but I feel better about it myself, because otherwise I just feel like some of these like steep downhills, it's like one wrong step and you're tumbling downwards, and that's not the way I want to go, or at least I want to try to avoid going that way. So, but anyways, guys, just wanted to give you guys a shout out before I work on this fire a little bit more. My ankle's still a little bit bothering me. I think maybe another week or so, hopefully. And I'm gonna try to come back out here and hike the what they call the Yavapai Point. It's one of the mountain hikes. It seems like it'd be pretty cool. And then there's a lot of other cool trails that are by the water, which might be kind of cool to explore. But right now I'm trying not to agitate my ankle too much and letting it heal. So, but anyways, guys, it's been great checking in with you guys. Thank you for the subscriptions. And we actually surpassed 10 subscribers. So the next goal is going to be maybe 15 or 20 subscribers. And and I'm hoping that not all of them are my family members either. But if they are, then I appreciate the support from my family too. So, all right, guys, thanks.